This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. I'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, the Amyrlin Seat, Green Man, and Kristen Gilreath. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Scooter McGavin and Ben Wilder to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really appreciate it and couldn't do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 15 and 16 of the Path of Daggers.
Yeah, so chapter 15 is Stronger Than Written Law, and chapter 16 is Unexpected Absences. We got stuff to talk about.
Yep.
There's some, good stuff, good conversations that happen.
Yep.
That I really want to dig into with you.
I believe you.
And then some, questionable actions that are happening, too. So,
Ooh. Also,
gotta get your take on all this.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you forget?
Okay.
Did you forget?
No.
I kind of feel like you forgot.
I didn't forget anything.
Okay.
I just feel as though, and I said this to you before we started recording.
Sure.
But the first read-through of these chapters was good.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and I was excited and interested. You know, we're finding out a lot of stuff that we haven't even touched on since last book.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about who everybody is. Definitely. As reminders, because, interestingly enough, not enough recap.
Okay, see?
Everybody take a drink.
Jeez.
Because who would have ever thought in this alternate universe...
Dani wants more recap.
I wanted more... Yeah, it was... I was like, wait, who? What?
You know what? I do have a lot of notes, because also it's kind of interesting, because this is one of the times when RJ kind of does some stuff off screen that we haven't seen, and it's been a long time since we've actually heard from some of these characters. So I do have... names, and I can recap that. So.
Okay, cool. Because I sort of started to piece it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, your help will be necessary.
Definitely.
And then here's the thing. The second time I started going through to do my notes and everything, it just felt slow and kind of boring. And I wasn't as excited or interested because I knew what was happening.
You read it back to back. I get that. I get that.
And so it was like, it was kind of like a letdown the second time. I was like, I remember this being more interesting.
And we're getting into the weeds with the names. Like you said, there's a lot of names, and it's going to, keep getting more opened up. So we'll get through it. It'll be okay.
Okay.
So starting this off with a fun fact, I figured that since we're talking about Aes Sedai and their sacred oaths today, that I would pull some real-world inspiration for you to think about while we're going through that conversation too. So I have compared the Aes Sedai to a few different groups and mythological creatures and societies and stuff, but today we're talking about nuns.
Cool.
So nuns in specifically...
That's a very, makes sense.
Christianity. So I'm not totally sure where you're going to land on that conversation between Egwene and Swan, so I don't really want to talk too much about that, but here's some info for you. So definitionally, a nun can be any woman who vows to dedicate her life to religious service, but generally it refers to one who lives under her vows in a monastery or convent. So, the term nun can also be used interchangeably with any other religious sister who takes simple vows. So, the biggest concept I kind of pulled and I could find was that a nun takes a more solemn religious vow, and then other lesser sisters would take simple vows. So a nun is almost like a step up in the degree of vows that they take.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. So nuns and Aes Sedai actually have a similar structure in their admittance of people, but it's not identical, but it's actually pretty close, which is kind of cool. So in general, a woman who first enters a religious order would have to be seen as a postulant or a candidate, and that takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, and then they get moved up and start their novitiate or become a novice, which would also come with some sort of adjustment to their clothes, which would usually be being given a white veil as opposed to a black veil. Okay. So that is very similar with Aes Sedai because they start as a novice and they're dressed in white.
Yeah, and they're called sisters.
And they're called sisters. We got the sisters thing too.
Yeah.
Because the nuns are sisters, and any religious sister, not maybe, I don't know if it's a degree of full nun. Yeah. But, anybody can be referred to as a sister. Mm-hmm. So at that point with a nun, they would take temporary vows, and that would usually last 1 to 3 years. And the time frames are actually pretty close to what the Aes Sedai do as well. but they wouldn't take them for more than 6 years. And we see with novices becoming accepted, when they pass the test, they're given a ring, but they're not yet full sisters, so that's very similar too. And then finally, after nuns complete that entire length of time, they would petition to take their perpetual profession or their permanent solemn vows, which is very similar to the Aes Sedai and their 3 oaths.
Sort of, yep.
In a sense of like taking a more permanent vow, not in like,
not a magical
not a
bond,
magical
yeah.
bonding vow, but in the sense that they're taking like a lifelong oath.
Got it.
Because accepted, you can still basically back out because it's a temporary oath that you're taking to be loyal to the towers. So the interesting connection that I really want to talk about after we get through these chapters is that there does seem to be the distinction in the real world of the intensity of your vows, and it kind of brings up some questions about what Swan is talking about, how she argues that an Aes Sedai taking vows is essentially what makes them Aes Sedai, and it's like a core, feature to their identity. And Egwene, who hasn't really been in it very long, thinks that they should abolish them. So, like I said, I want to talk about that now. We'll talk about it later, but definitely some cool similarities.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last time we were here talking, Rand was in Ilion dealing with the aftermath of the Samael fight.
Yep.
And now he's in charge of Ilion.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Also, Luz Theron came back.
Okay.
Sort of, and that's interesting.
Totally.
And exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. And also, that episode has already been released because now we are back to having no backlog.
Right.
But the benefit of that is I get to see comments on YouTube and in Discord on the episode that was just released.
Oh, that is exciting.
Yep. And someone said, I'm surprised that Dani was not worried about where the maidens are.
Yeah.
Where are the maidens?
Sure.
And I went, oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Didn't think about that. Okay.
Where are the maidens? Because they didn't go. Min, distracted them.
Yeah.
When Rand went to Ilion.
So we don't know that Rand has even been back, and it doesn't seem like he has been, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't really talk about time frames of that.
Those maidens are probably very upset.
Maybe, because he just, bounced again.
He left
after
again.
He left again.
After he left again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a very good point. That was a good YouTube comment that I saw right before we started recording, and I went, hey, yeah.
That is what we call a future Rand problem.
Yeah.
Boy, that's
turns out
he's better at dealing with stuff in the future than right now. So, right?
Nope.
Hopefully, no.
We'll see.
Okay, ignore. Never go back. Never go back. You never have to deal with it.
That's a good way to deal with your problems.
It's a life
for
lesson
sure.
there. Yep. There
Always
you go. There
do
you
that.
go. Yeah.
Always do that when you can.
Yep.
Yep.
Just ignore it and move away or whatever.
Forever.
Yeah, just move away forever. Never go back. It's fine.
It's like the same concept of my clothes are dirty. I'll buy new ones.
I'll throw them out.
Yeah.
You know what? But we do that with Tupperware sometimes if it gets really bad.
Sometimes.
You're like, I don't want to actually deal with that, so I'm just going to put the Tupperware in the garbage.
Sometimes.
It does happen.
It happens.
It happens to everybody.
Once in a while.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what's important here, actually, though, is the last time we were with Egwene.
Right.
Because that recap, turns out, is kind of important.
A little bit.
Because we need some context about what the heck is happening.
Yeah.
So the last time we were with Egwene, we were in A Crown of Swords.
Yeah.
In the first half of A Crown of Swords.
Yeah.
So we're almost a full book away from the last time we were with Egwene.
Yeah, we kind of we moved away from all that stuff. We did.
We zoomed away.
Yeah, there was other things that happened.
And kept zooming.
Yeah.
So here we are. Egwene, last book, was marching to Tar Valon as a puppet Amyrlin seat while trying to gain as much control as possible without destroying everything.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting because it doesn't feel to me like it's been that long because we kind of get
It hasn't been.
We get updates about what she's doing and what's happening kind of sort of from other perspectives.
But it also actually hasn't been that long. Probably since the last time we saw her, it's been a week.
Yeah.
Or a week and a half or maybe 2. It really, in the grand scheme of things...
In the length of time, yeah.
Hasn't been that long. So all of the Saladar Aes Sedai and Gareth Bryn's army and Matt's army close behind are all doing the long, slow, boring travel method of walking.
And it's going to get worse because now it's snow.
Now there's snow.
Okay.
So some sisters swore fealty to Egwene, which is good and bad at the same time.
Yep.
Now, Halima is for sure a Forsaken. Probably, definitely.
Yep.
And Egwene really likes and trusts her, which is definitely bad.
Yep. And we got to talk about that more
Because that,
this chapter.
and that is important to remember going into this chapter.
For sure.
And then I just thought, anything else that you could point out that you remember from last time that we should know before moving on?
You know what? Let's move on.
Because I said I'm going to need help with the names. Like, I wrote that.
I'll bring stuff up as we go.
Okay.
Because there are some off-screen events that happen, and you kind of have to, like, figure that out as we go.
Right. But also the last time we saw Egwene, I'm remembering now. Here's some things. There was the whole Lan and Morel situation.
Sure, yep.
She sent Lan off and made a gateway for him to get to Abu Dar.
Yeah, that's how Lan got there to save Nynaeve.
Yeah, why aren't we making gateways here at all?
Well, there's a difference between sending one guy somewhere than, like, an entire army.
Yeah,
and they're recruiting as they march. Like, she needs to build up a force. There is some merit to what they're doing here.
Like, yeah.
They literally didn't have an army, and now they need an army.
Maybe some reconnaissance missions, you know, zipping around. Maybe she doesn't have to meet with Elaine and Nynaeve in Tel'aran'rhiod. Maybe we can be traveling to each other.
Okay.
But, I mean, we can get into that later.
And, I mean, if you want me to explain away why they don't do things, we could say that Egwene wants to be subtle in what she's doing, so making a gateway and traveling to talk to Egwene and Nynaeve would be a lot more, or Elaine and Nynaeve would be a lot more like, oh my god, look at what I'm doing, versus secret meetings in Tel'aran'rhiod.
Right.
Egwene is kind of keeping everything on the DL with what's going on.
I feel like she could sneak away.
Maybe.
At nighttime.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess this might be actually simpler.
Maybe.
More simple? Okay. Chapter 15 is called Stronger Than Written Law. Last time, you told me the name of that, and I said, sounds like Aes Sedai stuff, and I was right.
You're so good at that.
Gold star for me.
Okay.
But the chapter symbol is a bull.
Which is interesting.
For Gilreath Bryn.
Yeah.
So now, we are in an Egwene perspective. She wakes up from a not very good sleep, and not very good, and also foggy dreams.
Sure.
Which she can't remember.
Yeah, which is a big issue.
A problem because she's usually always able to remember her dreams.
Yeah.
They're always open and clear, but they're getting worse lately. But she can remember some that she knows are important.
Yeah.
And so here we go with a classic paragraph of Egwene dreams that are clearly some kind of foretelling or future seeing or present time seeing.
Exactly, yeah. And maybe debatably, like, past
psychic abilities.
Past, like, this is what did happen. Like, we don't
potentially
really know.
But they're always important, and they...
Okay. And Egwene is like, no time for that now. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Like always.
I got the list here. Let's do this.
Yeah, okay.
So we got Rand wearing different masks until suddenly one of those false faces was no longer a mask, but him.
Ooh.
That maybe should concern us a little bit.
Considering LTT stuff.
LTT stuff, crossing balefire streams and seeing, like, flashes stuff, weird color stuff happening in Rand's brain. There's a lot of issues with Rand's brain right now.
Yep.
Okay. Are we concerned?
No.
Okay.
Anything. I'm not concerned
okay. All right, fine. Whatever.
Really much.
I shouldn't have even... I don't even know why I asked.
I'm more concerned about his, like, wounds that won't heal.
No, they're fighting each other internally. Yeah. Okay, anyways, next.
Okay. To be fair...
Okay,
here's the thing. I'm not more concerned about the physical wounds because his brain also is important.
Sure.
I'm equally concerned about everything that's happening to Rand, which cancels out and makes me, like, not really worried.
Okay.
How's that?
That's an interesting
I'm worried about everything, so therefore I'm worried about nothing.
It's just the amount of worriedness that you are is so low that it doesn't even matter.
No, it's so much worry. Oh. But all the worrying is, like, canceling each other out.
Just like the wounds in his side.
So if you're worried about everything,
cancels out.
You're worried about nothing.
It's great.
That's where I'm at.
Love it. Perrin and a tinker, frenziedly hacking their way through brambles with an axe and sword, unaware of the cliff that was just ahead, and the brambles screamed with human voices they didn't hear.
Yeah.
So maybe we've kind of seen that, because, like, I mean, Dumai as well, as they were hacking their way together through human brambles, being people.
I think that my gut feeling is that this is future telling.
More hacking and slashing.
Yeah, when we come to dealing with the prophet.
Ooh,
or
I like
some
that.
Dragonsworn we come across.
Okay.
Or Aram gets himself into some situation because he's been saying some weird stuff lately.
Okay.
You know?
I like it. So
and then Perrin has to, like... Yeah.
Future stuff. I do like that.
Or, like, currently that's happening, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what hasn't happened yet that I'm still waiting for? An Egwene Perrin dream crossover. Like, you know, a crossover
like
episode?
Like an aware crossover episode? Because we got, like, a unaware crossover episode where they're like, what is Perrin doing here or something?
Yeah, but I want an awares one.
You want a meeting.
Yeah. I want, like, a... Hey, you!
What
are
you doing here?
And then, like,
This is my place. No, this is my place.
Yeah.
Who wins?
No one wins. It's not a competition.
Everything's a competition, number one.
Well, then...
Number two, you have to pick a winner.
I don't know. Egwene.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't root for Perrin on anything. Sorry.
I love it. Okay.
Oops.
Okay, next. Matt is weighing 2 Aes Sedai on a huge set of balance scales, and his decision depends on something vast, perhaps the world.
Okay.
2 Aes
Sounds
Sedai.
like Matt's alive.
Not dead.
How are we having dreams about Matt if he's dead?
Good question.
But then let's lead into the next dream she's having, because that's also concerning for Matt.
Yeah, okay, so all of her dreams about Matt are pale and full of pain like shadows cast by nightmares, almost as though Matt himself were not quite real.
Yeah, so that's the most concerning part.
Okay.
Oops, where's Matt? I need to see that guy.
Yeah, and Egwene's feeling bad because she left him behind, so there's maybe some guilt there.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Rand thinks that he's still with Egwene.
Yeah.
And all of them marching on...
It's not great.
No. But interesting.
Yeah, and that's the end of the list, so...
Well, yeah, and interesting considering we know that Halima is messing with Egwene's head.
Yeah, it gets worse as the chapter goes on.
Yeah, and then we get some confirmation that she is actually messing with Egwene's dreams.
Okay. So Halima's the cause then?
Halima's the cause. I do think some of Egwene's natural dreamer abilities are creeping in.
Okay.
And I think that these dreams about Rand, Perrin, and Matt that she's always had are continuing to be regular.
Okay.
But I think the rest of the dreams that she can't really remember and are foggy or whatever, I feel like those are the ones that are being manipulated. But maybe Halima/Erengar isn't fully aware of how good Egwene is at dreaming.
That's very true.
Like,
because,
if she's doing normal dream implants, they might not work, as they would on a regular person.
That's true. I mean, it does seem like the Forsaken really don't think anybody of this age is good at stuff. But the wise ones we know are really good, and Egwene is literally taught by them. So, like, she does seem to have a pretty firm grasp on...
Well, even her dreamer stuff is different than the Dreamwalkers.
Yes,
right?
But we do know the wise ones some of them are also dreamers.
Okay.
Like, we've gotten some, like, they've dreamed about stuff. We don't know to the degree.
Yeah.
But Egwene is definitely, like, up there.
Okay. Now, that was all Egwene just waking up?
Yep.
Now we have Egwene hearing Halima and Swan arguing outside the tent because Halima doesn't want anyone disturbing Egwene because the poor woman's head pains her all day and she gets very little rest at night.
It's so good.
But Swan wants to talk to her right now, and she's getting fed up with the disrespect Halima is showing.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's so nefarious. It's so bad.
Yeah, and so now Egwene gets out of bed before this escalates because she knows Halima doesn't seem to realize the deference due to Aes Sedai.
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
bad.
How are you an Aes Sedai secretary, or whoever you are?
Yeah, assistant.
Without knowing... Right?
Yeah, it's like she just doesn't get it.
Red flags.
Oh, man.
There's got to be something somewhere about all of this. But Egwene's like, oh, I feel bad for her because everyone thinks that she's so slutty because of the way she dresses. But actually, she's not.
Yeah, well, she doesn't do anything.
Exactly. So she's like, I feel bad for her. She gets a bad rep.
Which is actually like a really good opinion for Egwene to have.
Yeah.
If Halima wasn't like a literal Forsaken fucking with her brain.
Yeah.
Like, except for that part, Egwene actually has like a pretty good thought process here.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't judge her on the way she dresses.
Right.
You know, that's a good thought to have.
I know.
Halima
but there
is
are other red flags,
evil.
I think, here.
They're sure, yeah.
There's gotta be.
I mean, if she's just like a regular person, like maybe not, but geez, oh man.
Yeah,
that's why it makes it so bad.
Yeah. So Swan is having a really tough time because so many of the other sisters in the camp still blame her for a lot of problems of the tower.
Yeah.
When really, no. That wasn't... Swan didn't choose.
Well, they blame her, though. That's the issue. They blame her for... It's like her meddling, her being, doing stuff a certain way, broke the tower, and, who else are you going to blame?
Elida?
No, come on. She's so far away. Swan is right here. Plus, she's super weak in the power. Automatically,
so
you
now
can treat her like garbage.
Her.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now you're getting it.
Now she's
right?
less important of a human.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now you're getting it.
I could be Aes Sedai.
You could. With that attitude, you'll make it to the top.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Egwene tells Halima to go back to bed and get some rest.
Yeah.
And Halima puts up a bit of a protest, but eventually goes back to her bed that's in Egwene's tent with her because that's where she sleeps now.
It's like right there. It's like right.
Even Egwene's servants and like maids don't sleep in the same tent as her, but Halima has somehow
so those magic fingers help the headaches go away.
And even Swan is like, you really shouldn't let her sleep in there.
This is weird. It's getting bad.
But Egwene thinks that Halima is innocently curious about everything, so she steps out to talk to Swan. Oh, good call, Egwene.
Also, she's like super curious, and again, very evil. Halima is spying on literally the rebel camp, Amyrlin seat. It's so bad.
Yeah. And so we get that it's cold and snowy outside.
Yeah. Cloud Bowl.
Wave Bowl.
Wave Bowl. It was Cloud Bowl.
Now
it's Wave Bowl.
Formerly known as Cloud Bowl.
Okay.
The bowl formerly known as Cloud.
Okay. Now it is Wave.
Now it is Wave. So Swan tells Egwene what's going on, and Egwene hopes it's not another revelation like the kin.
Yep.
And
again,
so,
catching us up to speed
about
with where we're standing.
Egwene knows and everything that's going on. So we got this information that Nynaeve and Elaine clearly shared with Egwene about the kin and the Cloud Bowl and everything.
Yes, and everything, like also the negotiations on how that one would see.
We'll talk about that later.
It all kind of gets uncovered, and that's why I was saying this is one of the first times that I really remember where RJ is making you like catch up to speed on where everyone is, because he'd usually show us these meetings and all these little events, but now we're like, nope, we're zooming. We're getting caught up here.
We're in a short book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's not another 10 chapters didn't get written. Yeah.
I know. Okay.
It's crazy.
It is a little bit. But now Swan gives her a standard apology for that situation because Swan hadn't thought the kin was even really very important.
Yeah.
In comparison to everything else that's going on.
Which I'm on Swan's side for that, because like for what the Aes Sedai thought they knew about the kin, it wasn't important.
No.
Like it actually wasn't very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's like, oh my god, there's like more of them than there are of us.
I mean, I could see it maybe coming up.
Yeah.
If Egwene is actively recruiting and a few of them like run away or something. I could see it coming up if there's like runaways and Egwene's concerned.
Yeah.
And Swan being like, "Don't worry, the kin will get them."
Yeah.
Right.
That's a fair point.
At that point, I could see maybe it naturally coming up.
And
but
it's like, oh, what's the kin? It's a little collection of people that kind of.
But otherwise, it's literally been like a week and a half. I don't even actually know. So
yeah. No, I agree.
Okay. So at this point, though, we do get that Swan is basically giving Egwene like 20 years of information of being an Aes Sedai.
Yes, and also of being an Amyrlin. Like there's the double-edged...
Which is like 100 years of being an Aes Sedai. 100 plus years.
Yeah, normally.
That you get before you're an Amyrlin.
Yeah.
And so, the important news tonight, though, that we get is that Gareth Bryn is waiting for Egwene in her study.
Here we go.
And it's a tent. Let's not forget.
Everything's tense.
Yeah.
They're all tense.
It's tense. It's a camp.
Yeah, but like big tents.
Yeah, except that her study seems like a small tent.
Comparatively, yeah.
So Swan mentions that Bryn came into their room covered in snow, barely told her anything before making her come and get Egwene.
And the important part of that story that Egwene picks up on
is that
they're sleeping in the same tent.
Sleeping in the same tent.
Yeah, and she doesn't get it. It's a really funny little bit.
She's like, that's weird. I know that they're, she's washing his clothes.
But like, what is it? Yeah, it's been like a whole thing that gets revealed in this episode that Egwene has no clue as to the...
still has no clue.
But at the end, she figures it out.
Yeah, good one, Egwene.
It takes her a while. I mean, come on, she's like 18. She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
I guess.
And like to her, in my mind...
No, you're being way too nice.
Oh man, I was just going to say, like in a young person's mind, like old people relationships, she might not really understand what that would look like.
Maybe. I feel like we have to stop using the excuse that Egwene is too young to understand things.
Not to understand, but like me as an 18-year-old, I wouldn't understand like an older person's relationship.
I feel like we can say things like lacks the experience. But
sure.
At this point, like she has enough experience in...
Not in love.
Well...
Her love is Gawain.
Ugh.
Like, come on.
That's a problem in itself.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
No time for that now.
No, we literally have so much else to cover. Like, I can't get bogged down in these details.
Okay.
Someone's got to keep us rolling.
Yeah, and snow. There's snow.
There's snow.
Lots of snow.
Yeah. Now, as Swan and Egwene head towards the tent, Egwene thinks about Swan talking about something called the Law of Unintended Consequences.
Yeah, it's a good rule.
Yeah, the rule basically says that whether or not what you do has the effect you want, it will have at least 3 consequences you never expected, and one of those is usually pretty terrible.
Yeah, like actually really bad.
Yeah.
You expect it to be really bad.
Right.
And then you'd be expecting what's probably going to happen.
Okay.
It's a pretty good rule.
It's an okay rule.
Yeah.
It's an okay
It's like
rule.
things aren't going to go the way you think they're going to go, so like prep for that.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so now we get a recap of how the weather has played out because it started with some very light rain, even though Egwene already told the Hall that the Bowl of the Winds has been found and used.
That's really important for later this episode.
Yeah, they're not happy.
No, they're not. They're not happy at Egwene, but also they're not happy at everybody involved.
They're not happy about anything,
yes,
turns out.
That's true.
So then the light rain became downpours and storms, and then the temperature dropped and the storms became blizzards, and now they're moving really slowly because of the terrible weather.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it is the middle of winter.
Like 5 times as slow if they're moving at all, because when the snow is really bad, they just don't move at all.
Yeah.
So their march to Tarvalin is now like almost grinding to a halt.
Yeah.
So not great. So unintended consequence
of using the cloud bowl, of correcting the weather.
We saved the weather and all that stuff, but now...
But also, in the middle of winter, typically we wouldn't be marching across the world.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it was a winter because it was really hot. It's actually like summer, but anyways.
Okay.
Unintended.
So, Bryn is waiting for them in the Amyrlin study tent.
Yep.
In the dark, because they don't want to attract any attention, because this is all super secret.
Yes, and all the relationships between Egwene and Swan and Lyanna, they're all like different. They're all still undercover.
They think.
Everyone's undercover.
They think.
Okay, you don't believe it?
Well, this is from Egwene's point of view.
That's true.
And there's always an unreliable narrator aspect to everything we read.
Yeah.
And I think about that specifically when Egwene thinks about that... The relationships she has are super secret and no one knows.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So it's always kind of like, okay.
Who actually does
exactly.
it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Egwene thinks about how Bryn has made it clear, that she's the Amyrlin and he follows the Amyrlin, so she trusts him more than anyone except for probably Swan and Lyanna.
Yeah.
Oh, and like Elaine and Nynaeve.
And the ones that swore fealty to her.
Also those
secret.
ones because she forced that on them.
Yeah.
Right.
So we need a quick recap of sisters who swore fealty to Egwene, because this is important.
Please do.
Okay, so in sisters, not just Aes Sedai, but also...
There's more now, right, than we last left?
So here's the thing.
I picked up on that, because that was very confusing for me.
Let me go ahead and clear some stuff up for you.
Okay.
So
should I be taking notes? Should I write down what you're saying?
You should be drinking your wine.
Okay, I can do that.
That's enough.
I'll sit back, I'll drink.
I got the notes.
Okay, but I feel like I should take notes
now
for
it's fine. It's
later.
Fine. You'll get it. You got this.
I'm very studious.
Okay.
I'm good at studying studiously.
I do understand that. All right. So we had the original Theolaine and Theodrin who came and swore to Egwene. Mm-hmm. Even though they don't like her, they're like, hey, we're on board with this. And you know what?
They did that of their own volition.
They did. And
they are not bound by the Oath Rod.
True.
Specifically... to actually keep this if they don't want to.
That's true.
So that makes that better than the rest of it.
Sure. Then we've got...
Morally speaking.
Sure. Then we've got Nicola and Arena, who are not, but they tried to blackmail Egwene because they also blackmailed Morel and Nassau with the land situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So then Egwene...
All the Bobbsey twins. I remember this situation.
Egwene showed up there, sent Nicola and Arena out. They were like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And then Morel and Nassau had to swear fealty to Egwene.
Yes.
Which is very interesting.
Otherwise, face the penance of what they did with Lan.
Yeah.
And, everything.
So the Morel interactions this chapter make a little more sense when you remember that she is sworn to Egwene.
Yes.
And then Nassau was the yellow who Egwene let try to heal her because the headaches thing from Halima.
Yeah.
But that's the only person who Egwene even wanted to, know about that.
Yeah.
But it's not helping.
Yeah.
Then we have the original 6 sisters who are indebted to Egwene because of the whole moles in the tower business. So you might remember...
Yes, I do, sort of.
At the end of chapter 12 in Crown of Swords, so the middle of last book, we had the Morning of Victory chapter after the land visit, and then she made Morel and Nassau swear to her. Then she thinks about having plans to make Sheriam and the other OG Saladar 6 who were in charge of everything. She wanted to do the same thing to make them swear fealty to her using the ferret information about them sending ferrets to the tower.
Right.
And we don't actually see that on screen with the swearing.
No, but it has happened.
It has happened, so it makes a lot more sense with how everybody is acting.
Especially Sheriam.
Yes.
Because we do get Egwene interacting with Sheriam later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. So she's got a whole little crew now.
Okay, and can you remind me the original 6 Saladar Aes Sedai
Yes.
in charge?
Yeah, so we have Sheriam.
Yeah.
We've got Morel. Anaya.
Right. Who's a blue?
Yep.
Okay.
We've got Carlinia.
Ooh, I remember that name sort of. A white? Is she white?
Yep. And then Morvrin.
Okay, don't remember that.
She comes up, and then Baonin.
Don't remember that.
Yeah, they're the lesser of the
But they're
6.
also there.
They're
doing
all,
some things.
They're all there.
They're all there, and they've all sworn to Egwene. That's the important part.
Yeah, and I'll point everything out as we kind of keep moving through here.
Okay, so the news that we're all on the edge of our seats waiting for at this point is that Bryn says there's an army to the north of them, mostly Andorans, because they're almost at the Andoran border, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's where they are geographically.
Yep.
That there are some Mirandians who are kind of tagging along in this army.
Yeah, they're just kind of using it as they're not really important.
No, but it's being led by 2 of the strongest houses in Andor.
Yep.
Pelivar and
Arethel.
Arethel.
We do know these people. So Pelivar is one of the nobles who helped swear Dylan in as regent. And we like Dylan because she's the one who didn't want to be queen.
Yeah, she wants Elaine.
Yeah, and they just put her in temporarily. So Pelivar and Arethel were both nobles that Morgaze had thought would be loyal to her, but we're not really sure how they feel about that, but they are both powerful houses. That's the extent. So they're powerful, and they're here, and they support Dylan, from what we can tell.
Okay, and who's to say Morgaze didn't actually insult them and their houses while...
Yeah. It seems like they're okay. It seems like they're okay with Dylan, but it makes sense that they're here because it's literally like an army moving into Andor, and they're like, what's going on?
Yes.
Don't do it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a big army at this point, to the point where Rand even knows about it now.
Yes, it is a big army.
News is traveling about this army just marching through Mirandi towards Andor.
Yeah, so they don't want, it's like,
deal.
go around Andor, go around.
Go around. Well, then what? You're going
You
through
can't.
You can't.
You can't. That's the problem. Okay.
Okay, so turns out this army is pushing south, and if Egwene's army keeps marching, which Bryn doesn't think they should do, by the way.
Yeah,
that would be
we shouldn't have a head-on meeting with them moving south and us moving north. That's bad.
Armies.
Yeah.
So they're gonna meet, if they keep doing that, in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, so they're pretty close.
Yeah. So Swan asks Bryn if he has any issues fighting the Andorans, since he is one.
Yeah.
And was their commander.
He doesn't care.
And he says, nah.
Nah, it's good.
It's all good.
Do you know how I got let go?
Morgaze's fault.
Do you know how I got fired?
Mm-hmm. And Bryn says he's dedicated to fighting whoever Egwene wants him to.
Yeah.
Whomever?
Yeah. Is never the right word.
Yeah.
But the point is, Bryn does bring up some good points. This is not... I'll fight them if you want to. This isn't the army that we should be fighting because this isn't a battle we want to fight. We're not enemies here with the Andorans. We're not trying to take over Andor.
Not even a little bit. We just want to quietly march through with our giant army and then also with the giant army following us.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
Gosh. I want to hear from them. what's happening with the band?
That's true. That's a good question.
Just tag-alongs at this point.
Yep.
Where's Matt?
Where's Matt?
Okay. Well, he's in Abu Dar.
Matt's not here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot. Now, Egwene asks what happens if they stop where they are, and Bryn says that we can get them to not fight, and that's great. But by tomorrow, all the other guys will reach this, like, great defensive position, and they'll probably settle in and just, like, wait, and then Egwene's army won't be able to reach it before them, and if Egwene does want to fight, it's best to, like, retreat back a couple days to a better good position. Defensive spot.
So really Bryn's just, like, gauging, like, hey, do you want to fight them? Do you want to play defense? Can we go around them? Like, what's happening? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So, but he brings up options. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, so Egwene asks Bryn if he thinks the Andorans will talk if they're offered the chance, and he says, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, they also probably don't want to fight Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
That's probably not something they want to do, but they will if they have to defend their country, but they don't want to.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's all very fair points.
Now, there is some stuff during all of this between Swan and Bryn that Egwene still can't figure out.
Yeah.
And then Egwene says that she wants to avoid battle if she can. Basically, because that's what Bryn led her to doing.
Sure.
I find this actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
Because after this interaction, and we'll get to it, after it's all finished, Egwene actually starts to feel almost guilty for thinking that she just manipulated Gareth Bryn.
Okay.
And here...
That's my question.
What I see is Gareth Bryn manipulating Egwene to make the right decision. He's the battle commander. He understands this entire situation.
Keeping in mind, he's one of the great captains in the world.
Exactly. And so he's essentially manipulating Egwene because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
Okay.
In terms of armies and battles and if they should fight and if they shouldn't and where they should go. So I think he strategically tells her things in a methodical way
so that she comes to the conclusion that we should set up a meeting
and makes the command. But it's actually his decision.
Gotcha.
So it's funny because he's clearly manipulating this situation.
Okay.
And then she's like, oh, I feel bad for manipulating him.
Unless there's like a secret other decision that Egwene is like secretly manipulating him into.
No, the only thing that she's secretly doing is manipulating all the other Aes Sedai.
That's true.
Which seems to actually be going okay if we can believe Egwene's point of view.
That's the hard part about this, because we get a very complex situation next chapter with things seeming to go bad for her, but then that's like what she wanted to happen.
Yes.
And she's like, yes, played out exactly how I wanted it to. So, okay. But yeah, anyways, however you cut it, it seems like it's a good decision to not fight the Andorran army right now.
Don't fight them.
We're going to talk.
Go talk to them.
Yeah.
We'll have an answer before tomorrow night, and Egwene wants to keep this meeting and the existence of this army a secret from the Hall as long as possible.
Yeah.
And even Bryn is like,
okay,
it won't be very long.
Yeah.
And Egwene's like, that's what I'm counting on.
You should ride fast and go get my message out to set up that meeting.
Yeah.
Move quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, because we find out next chapter, it gets out very quickly.
Yeah. But kind of the way Egwene planned, it
yes.
seems.
And she delayed long enough for the meeting to be set up.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
big too.
Now, this is the point at which Bryn is ready to leave, and Egwene sort of stops him and asks him super casually, you can't want to take men worn down by marching right into siege at Tar Valon. So how long would you want to rest before you begin?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Once we get there, let's start talking about that situation.
Yeah, because you don't want to just like show up there and then try and settle down, because if you show up, then Elaida is going to attack immediately. So you got to like rest your guys after like a long march.
Yeah, and Bryn says, news of armies spreads really fast, and Elaida will know the day they arrive. Yeah. And she won't give them any time to settle in.
They're spies. Yeah.
The tower is increasing their guard to 50,000.
Because we saw that order.
Yeah.
Alviarin was like, we got to do that.
Yeah.
But they're not at 50,000 from what it seems.
Okay.
They're recruiting to get to 50,000.
I don't remember that even a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of Alviarin's...
I'm just going to trust you.
The decision that Alviarin made Elaida make.
Okay. But he would technically want a month's rest if he could to have the men rest and recover, but 10 days would do.
Yeah, okay.
So Egwene changes the subject back to the army and says, send your fastest riders, and he leaves.
Yeah,
so Egwene wonders if she should consider making him give an oath like the one Morella and the others did.
Yeah, but like, come on. The guy is super honorable.
Not really at this point.
Yeah. This is not the time to...
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
If you have any reason... Like, now she's going oath crazy.
Right?
Powers go into her head.
Right? And that's the issue we had at the beginning. It's like, okay, but we shouldn't do this. It wouldn't be technically a magical oath, but, like, Bryn is super honorable. If we think about why he's even here...
Considering that Swan, Lyanna, and Min had to give an oath to Bryn.
That's true.
Like, that would be nice. A nice round circle moment.
But, like, Bryn would keep his oath, and he already swore an oath to fight. And he was like, just don't leave me out in the cold. Like, don't screw me over. That was his one thing.
Specifically wants one
to her.
And I do appreciate her wanting this, like, protection almost. Like, she's in a very vulnerable position, especially with her own ambitions.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, that's true. But a little oath crazy.
A little oath crazy?
Just a teeny.
Just a touch.
Yeah. She didn't make him do it, so, like, that's fair. We're like, it's good.
Not yet.
Not
She's
yet.
Thinking she might want to, though.
Tomorrow.
We'll see.
We'll see how things play out.
So after Bryn leaves, Egwene says, if I do nothing else, I hope at least I can free us from those stupid 3 oaths.
Terrible.
After thinking to herself, I gotta make that guy swear an oath.
Yeah.
So, like,
well, she
have
does
it one way
different,
or have it another.
Different oaths. She wants people to swear to her. She doesn't want to swear oaths to anything.
Yeah, but let me tell you.
Okay.
This doesn't go well.
Well,
Swan is scandalized.
It's a very interesting... Like, I find it's a very interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. Because, like, where do you land on the whole 3 oaths situation? Do you have, like, a good or bad opinion of it?
I actually think that I have Egwene's standpoint on this one.
At the beginning of the conversation or at the end of the conversation?
At the end.
Okay.
I still stand with, we shouldn't have to magically swear not to lie. Because it, in the end, doesn't stop Aes Sedai from lying.
The scheming. I mean, Swan counterpoints that by saying, like, we still have the advantage of if we speak clearly, people know for a fact that we're telling the truth.
Sure.
Like, even if you're a White Cloak, you can lie all you want, but you know, if I say this is this, that you know it's actually true. Sure, I can dance around words, but if I'm speaking clearly, then you know. And that's kind of her point about the oaths.
Fair. But the problem is, from the beginning of the institution of using the oath rod to swear these oaths and creating the common day Aes Sedai...
Yeah.
It's necessary to have this oath taking because of all the scheming and, like, dancing around the truth and
pulling strings of nations.
Pulling strings.
Totally, yeah.
And it's necessary because of the position they've put themselves in. People know they can trust us because they know we can't lie.
Yeah. But then it's just like, don't trust anything you ever say.
What about kings and queens and... Yep. Any nobles and anybody making any pacts anywhere in the world or any deals.
That's why
we just have to trust each other.
That's why it's a very interesting conversation because, I mean, at the core of it...
Because there's no real, genuine trust.
No.
And that's the issue.
But in Swan's mind, that's literally her argument for having the 3 oaths, is that this is what separates us from, number one, other channelers.
Yeah. Because
we have the oaths, and any woman, any wilder can channel... But we, as Aes Sedai, are the ones who are sworn to a standard, whether or not you like it, but that is our own standard. And it unifies them as a group with common goals. I mean, even think about, like, Moraine thinking maybe we should just, like, let Elaida have the tower if it brings the tower back together.
Yeah.
Even Moraine, like, the person that we kind of like.
Oh, yes.
But the other point that Swan kind of brings up is that also separates them just from other people who meddle in the affairs of the world because they have this common goal. But I mean, like, I also am on the side of abolishing the 3 oaths because I also don't like it, because it's kind of like the circular, you put yourself in the situation, so you have to keep it up.
Yes.
But I mean, where does Egwene land on this conversation? Like, that's kind of the big question of, is this, like, institutionally super important to Aes Sedai? And if she tries to get rid of them, how is that going to affect all the sisters looking at her?
Yes.
Like, is that literally, like, oh my god, we got to pull her down right now? Or put her in a closet for the next 100 years to not let her do this? Like,
right.
what's actually going to happen to her if she tries to pull that?
Well, there could be some sort of new system. The problem is, like in our lives, when there's an older generation and newer generations are coming in to any workplace.
Yeah, and saying, let's change things.
Let's change things.
Yeah, there's going to be pushback.
There's going to be pushback. Always, because nope, that's not how we do things, and we like the way we do things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't discredit the new way. It doesn't
mean it's worse.
It doesn't mean it's worse, but it doesn't mean that the old way's better, and it doesn't mean that the new way's better.
That's
it's
true.
just two different ways of doing things.
Do you want to hear a funny thing about the whole 3-0 situation as it is right now?
Sure. Am I gonna laugh? Is it ha-ha funny?
It's not really ha-ha, because it has to do with the Black Aja.
Ooh.
But consider this.
Okay.
Aes Sedai take the 3-0s.
Yeah.
It gives them an ageless face.
Mm-hmm.
Without the Oath Rod, we know they would not have said ageless face.
That's the conclusion we've come to.
That's the conclusion we've come to, because it's literally given to them by the Oath Rod. Now, if Aes Sedai didn't swear the 3 oaths, then the Black Aja, if they did swear the 3 oaths to the Dark One, then they would still have the ageless face, but all the Aes Sedai who don't swear oaths wouldn't. So taking away the 3 oaths from the Aes Sedai means that Black Aja also would have to give up their 3 oaths, otherwise there'd be like a very difference in appearance.
That's true. And the Dark One would have to figure that out.
They'd have to figure that situation out, for sure.
Sure,
Yeah.
interesting standpoint. But at the same time, you don't need an Oath Rod to have repercussions if you break your verbal oaths to the Dark One.
Also a good point. It's just the whole magical... We're bringing the Oath Rod into this, and it just seems like it doesn't help anyone ever for any reason.
Well, and
except
let's
for bad
also
guys.
talk about the situation with the Shido and Savannah and Thorava literally having an Oath Rod.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's a complicated situation.
We can have just, like, any random oaths being sworn, and even people... Like, right now, we have Galena, who swore an oath on it, who's already Aes Sedai.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say we have somebody else start swearing some oaths on the Savannah Oath Rod.
Oh, man.
Are they going to start to look ageless like Aes Sedai? Like,
hypothetically, that it sounds like what should happen. That's what should happen.
Settles and tightens on their skin.
It's
or
not an
whatever,
Aes Sedai
right?
thing. It's an Oath Rod thing. It's just the Aes Sedai, the only ones who use it.
Right. So, like, there's that.
Okay.
There's a lot.
There's questions.
Anyway, in the end of this, like, 2-page discussion...
It's a bit.
Swan firmly believes that the oaths hold them all together as a set of beliefs that bind them all, like running through every sister. It's a huge thing, and they are Aes Sedai because of the oaths.
So you can't get rid of it.
You can't be an Aes Sedai without swearing the oaths.
And it seems like at the end of the discussion, at least Egwene understands Swan's viewpoint. I'm not really sure if she agrees with it right now.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's gotten her thinking about, like,
what does it mean to be Aes Sedai?
Yeah. And, like, does every person who channel have to be an Aes Sedai bound by the 3 oaths?
And that's the thing, because why she's really thinking about freeing everyone, and that's how she says it. Can't you just, like, won't it be so good when everybody's free?
Yeah.
And Swan's like, no, the second I can swear my oaths again, I will.
I am not I can't trust myself.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the same way with, like, bag of chips. Once it's open...
Eat the whole thing.
Eat the whole bag. Can't control it.
That's why you put some in a bowl.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
the trick.
I know where the chips are in the house.
Yeah, but it's harder. Like, you mentally can be like, okay, I'm done now because the bowl's empty.
Maybe you can.
No, but...
But that's the situation. Swan doesn't want to have that on her,
but
so.
Egwene specifically thinks about the Seanchan as a problem who use the power as a weapon.
Yeah, how are we going to fight them?
How are we going to fight them if all the Aes Sedai are sworn to not use the power as a weapon?
Yeah.
Unless their lives are
Swear
like...
new oaths, I can't use the power against Starfleet. Or those dumb Seanchan.
Or those dumb Seanchan.
Blow them up.
Well, and like maybe the O's could be tweaked.
Maybe they could be updated for like current day. That would help.
Yeah, that probably would help.
More relevant.
Yeah.
Like can only use the power against White Cloaks and Dark Friends and Shanshan and anyone else who annoys me.
Right.
There you go.
Shoot. Well, that's probably not a good one either.
Well, I'm not in charge of writing them, okay?
Okay,
But, you know.
well, Swan doesn't really have an answer for that problem, but she says, the tower has survived literally everything.
It's not a good argument. This is not the best argument.
So we'll find a way to deal with it.
Yeah, she's like, hey, we survived the Trolloc Wars and the White Cloaks and Archer Hawkwing. We'll figure it out. But, like, I don't agree with that argument because this is a new thing.
Yeah.
And this seems, like, remarkably way worse than any of those things beforehand.
Although, to the Aes Sedai in the time of Archer Hawkwing's reign, that was probably way worse than anything else.
But, like, and then, Archer Hawkwing didn't have Aes Sedai blowing people up. But the Shanshan do.
Yeah, they're physically using...
Yeah.
Good thing we have the Black Tower, hey?
Right.
To also use...
What, the Black Tower is going to come to the aid of the White Tower?
Nope. But they're going to fight the Shanshan. And it's going to be accidentally at the aid of the White Tower.
Oh, man. Okay.
I don't think Rand would necessarily team up with, per se.
Yeah.
But he definitely wants the Shanshan gone.
Okay.
So, your enemy is my enemy, which makes us allies for now, question mark?
Okay.
Right?
I like it.
Okay, so after that pretty heated discussion between Egwene and Swan, they change the subject, and Swan tells Egwene she believes that Brynn is trustworthy.
Yeah.
And it'll be beneficial to fill him in on everything because it'll help if he understands the whole plan.
Tell the army commander about the plan.
You know what this
is? For the army.
You know what this is?
Communication?
No. This is someone in your alliance having a showmance.
Oh my goodness, that's true.
That's what this is.
And then she's like, you can trust him.
Yeah, let's bring him in to our plans. We're going to tell him everything, and if you don't tell him anything, I'm going to secretly not tell you I told him everything.
It's more like I've already been telling him secret, so I need you to like tell him again, and he's going to be like, oh, wow, okay.
That's exactly what this is.
You know what, but actually, I like this because like Brynn is trustworthy. We like him. Like
Brynn is smart. Swan is smart.
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, this is the moment that everything clicks for Egwene.
Oh, yeah, it's the big one.
And she's like, you're in a showmance,
idiot. I get it now. I finally get it.
You're in love with Brynn. And then she immediately thinks about Gawain and what he's up to.
Same type of love. Exact same relationship.
And Egwene tells Swan that she can box his ears or bed him, but you better not tell him anything he should not know.
Is it too late for that?
And Swan's like, excuse me.
I would never.
How
ever, dare you?
Except that we're already sleeping in the same.
How dare you accuse me of these things?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Swan keeping everything secret?
No.
No? Okay.
No, not quite.
Okay.
They're already sleeping in the same tent.
Okay. Showmance. I get it. I get it.
Why are they already sleeping in the same tent?
Yeah, I mean, it's snowing, so the walk back to her own tent was too long.
Afterwards?
Yeah. Baby's cold outside.
After washing his shirts.
Yeah.
It was just easier to gather his laundry. And also, Egwene, get your tent made out of your tent.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that.
Let's talk about Halima.
Swan's tent
Terrible. Made. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they leave the tent, and it's cold because it's winter. And Egwene thinks it's probably best if the Andorran houses,
Palavar and Erethel,
believe
don't act like those are going anywhere.
All the stories about Aes Sedai coming out, because maybe it'll put them on edge and more willing to talk, whatever. And then she gives some directions to Swan. And I read this part several times, over and over.
Okay.
Trying to really suss out exactly
what's happening,
what's going on.
Okay.
So, Swan is to wake up.
Yep. Baonin,
Anaya, Morel.
Those are the three who are sworn to Egwene.
Yep. They're gonna ride north right away.
Yeah. Like right now.
Because Brynn will be expecting an answer by tomorrow evening, but the three sisters will already be there.
They'll find the camp. Yeah.
And so as soon as Brynn gets an answer, there'll be Aes Sedai there.
Yes. That's what it seems like. Yeah. who are loyal to Egwene.
Yeah, and at this point, I just thought, let's utilize traveling. We know they're 2 days away from us. Bryn's really gonna ride hard for like almost like a full day.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Let's utilize some traveling.
I get it. They need to know the area where they are.
She knows where she is.
We don't know that she knows.
She could study it for half an hour.
She could. That's problem solving. Absolutely. It's just, you know.
It would just be nice to utilize the magic that we have to benefit us.
Yeah, I get that. Give it time. Give it time.
But we're not going to do that.
Give it time.
Okay.
Sometimes you need the delay of time for events to transpire.
Sure, but like the secrecy is of utmost importance. And if we could get a bunch of this stuff rolling.
But is the secrecy like utmost important? Because she gets found out, and it seems like next chapter she wanted to get found out.
She wanted more time before she was found out. We'll get to it.
Did she though?
Yes.
Did she though?
Okay. We get that from her brain.
Okay.
I just, in all of this.
Yeah.
It just bothers me.
Wheel weaves, come on.
This is like we'll use the ways when it's convenient. Oh, we'll use the portal stones when it's convenient. We'll use traveling.
The wheel weaves. Come on.
Frick. No.
Oh, okay, anyways.
No, it doesn't.
Next group of people.
Fine.
Yeah. Sheriam, Carlinia, Morvrin, Nassau.
Right.
Also all loyal to Egwene.
Okay. At dawn, they will know what they're supposed to say over breakfast to start spreading some seeds.
Yeah. So the seeds can grow into something.
Gossip.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then we get Swan telling Egwene, I know you want to be one of the greatest Amyrlins, but be careful that you don't become the worst.
Yeah, because the worst one is actually like really bad. So she squandered the bad one. Chunla was the one who squandered the power of the Amyrlin, alienated most of the sisters in the tower. Then the world believed she died in office almost 400 years ago, but the hidden truth was she was deposed and sent into exile for life. But then after the fourth plot to restore her to the Amyrlin seat was found out, the sisters who were guarding her smothered her in her sleep with a pillow.
Right. Okay. I just had this revelation.
Yep.
So we can't lie.
Yep.
And we can't use the power as a weapon.
Yep.
But we can just murder people with our hands?
Yep.
Cool.
That's
works. Allowed. Yep. That's fine.
Yeah.
All of that's fine.
Yeah. Totally
as long
fine.
As we're not lying or using the power as a
Hypothetically,
weapon.
You could also wrap some up in air and then stab them in the back, such as Swan's Warder.
Right.
So that's a thing that you could
and that's fine.
That's cool. We're cool with that.
Yikes. Okay,
that's the
so
thing
there
about
are some loopholes and some problems.
There's some huge, gigantic loopholes in the Three Oaths.
And that is the main problem, I think.
That's one of the main problems. And anyways, the moral of the story.
What is the worst name? Chunya? What did you say?
Chunla?
Let's say,
Chunla?
from now on, we should say, don't pull a Chunla.
And get murdered.
Be the worst.
And be the worst.
That's the saying.
You know what?
Don't be the worst.
Egwene doesn't want to be that.
Don't be a Chunla.
Don't be a Chunla.
Don't do it, okay?
There you go. That works. I like it. And that's the end of this chapter, so, we're good.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come on back.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so we're back with Chapter 16, Unexpected Absences.
You know what? I actually love this chapter.
It's because they're dead.
Yeah.
It's because
maybe?
a Forsaken killed them and buried them in the snow.
Straight up, there's some serious, what is going on in this chapter.
Spoiler warning.
Oh, no.
That
Yeah.
Chapter.
Shoot. Okay.
Shoot.
Oh, maybe they're dead. You don't know.
I do have a theory. I have a wild theory. Obviously everything is spelled out for us and it completely lines up and makes sense.
Sure.
But then
take a different path.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll get to it.
Okay.
How about that?
I'm interested.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
As in who's actually dead?
No, as in who's actually Erengar.
Okay.
If Erengar isn't Halima. Because in the Erengar perspective, which we'll get to, we're jumping ahead now. You're looking confused.
But we know that Halima is Erengar.
Well, we think that.
No, that was how she was introduced.
Not as Erengar, though.
Yeah, no,
not
they're
with
for
the
sure.
Name, I don't
they are
think.
100% the same person. Halima is Erengar. The question is, who is Erengar? If anything, the question is, like, which Forsaken is
I
Harengar?
don't think that Halima was specifically... Like, we puzzled it out.
No, specifically Halima.
Okay, so then I don't have a theory and we don't have to talk about it. Let's move on, then.
That was like how we got introduced.
Fine.
Okay.
Then it doesn't matter. How about the chapter symbol? It's the Flame of Tarvalin.
Doesn't even matter.
No one even cares.
Okay, it's fine.
Fine. We'll
good.
talk about it later.
You know what? That was a great start to this chapter.
Yikes.
Because the whole concept of this chapter is like, what's going on? And that's how you made me feel right now. So it's good.
That's how I aim to immerse you in the experience.
Right? Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Egwene perspective. We are continuing from last chapter. It is early morning, and Egwene has called for the Hall of the Tower to meet. And it's a lot less fancy than it would be if they were in the tower.
Yeah, it'd be like procession, fanfare, and now it's just
thing.
like everyone stands in a circle.
And they all gather together. There's 18 sitters to stand in a semicircle to listen to Egwene. And you know what? Mm-hmm. No one takes their boobs out this time.
Okay, but in the hall,
I'm just joking.
Okay,
I know.
okay.
I just thought that was funny.
It's winter.
Because the last time we saw this group
Yeah.
gathered all together, it was like Egwene's.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Good point.
Swearing in. I don't know what to call it.
Sure.
Whatever.
It's fine.
And the boobs were out to prove they're ladies.
Phew. Just in case you were worried.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're there to listen to Egwene. Egwene has some thoughts.
Yep.
To catch us, the reader.
Yep.
Up to speed on what's going on.
Well, we've also got Carlinia, who like comes around a corner and then stops short when she sees Egwene, and then hurries away.
Because she's supposed to be somewhere else doing something.
Yeah, and she's one of the 6 who's like sworn. Yeah. Anyways, so
Carlinia's job was to spread rumors at breakfast.
Yeah.
Right? She was in that group.
Yeah.
Rumors group.
Rumors group. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, it's just like a hint that the, I guess, 5 extra, because Muriel is technically one of the OG 6, but she got sworn to Egwene because of the land situation.
Yeah.
So Carlinia clearly feels some kind of way about the whole swearing fealty to Egwene, which is fair, because it's weird.
Well, but she did it.
But yeah, she did. She did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
There's also a lot of novices here. So many that they don't even have proper novice addresses for them, if you can imagine.
It's a good situation to
They're
be in.
only wearing white skirts.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Scandalous.
Yep.
But some Aes Sedai think that they should still be letting the women seek them out instead of recruiting.
Yeah, old habits die hard.
Way.
Yeah, that is the way.
That is the way to maintain your prestige.
Yes.
Because if you're going out recruiting all the time, how good can your company be?
Exactly.
You should be seeking me out because I'm the best.
A good headhunter is going to know that I'm looking for a job. So,
yes,
they should be aware. Okay.
Did they not see my LinkedIn profile?
All right.
Okay. So, at this point, Sheriam announces Egwene is coming. And then, but she's already standing there. So it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of
They're all like in a circle and they're all cold and it's like snowy, it's winter.
It's kind of comedic.
It is. It's like good physical comedy. Or he loves it. Okay.
Is. And then Egwene makes her announcement. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? What's this going to be?
It's not, okay.
It's, you know what, everybody? We're tired from traveling. We're weary from the weather. I've decided that we're going to stop for 2 to 3 days to rest the horses and make repairs. And Sheriam will see to all the arrangements.
Yeah, and it's kind of sacred because they're not stopping just 'cause. It's 'cause army.
Because army.
In 2 to 3 days, the army, they should be here. So they're stopping, not because, hey, that's like what she's telling everyone, but they're actually stopping because army.
Interesting. In case the army does march on them.
Yeah. Because Bryn said that they should be here in 2 to 3 days.
If that continues.
If they keep marching towards each other, that's what's going to happen.
But if they stop...
Then they won't meet.
Then they won't meet.
Yeah. So that's why they're sending riders, because they want to make a meeting.
No, I know all that. I didn't connect that so much.
This is like
okay.
Stopping is good.
Stopping is good. No. I get that part.
Fake reason.
Sheriam
kind of calls her out for it, too.
Well, she's like, every time we try to stop, even for a day, you, like, freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not this time. Well, this time Egwene wants to stop.
And Egwene's like, well, this is my decision, so suck it.
Yeah.
Suck a lemon, Sheriam.
Yeah.
Anyway, as soon as Egwene is done, nobody even really says anything, and then they all just, like, march off.
Yeah.
Even without the ceremony.
Yeah.
And Ramonda and Lalani are taking their lackeys along with them. And then at this point, I was like,
boom.
Who are these people? I don't remember.
There's nobody.
No.
Yeah.
Even Ramonda and Lalani. Lalaine.
Lalaine? Okay, so...
I didn't remember.
Sheriam?
Now I do, because I read the rest of the chapter
yeah.
and I figured it out.
Yeah.
But initially...
Interesting. Yeah, they're like the two who are basically on competing sides of the tower to try to, like...
It was made clear. I was like, oh, right.
Do stuff.
This all came back to me. But initially, a touch of recap of even Egwene thinking, these are the two that are...
Yeah. I really...
Initially.
You know what? I really tried to drill it into you last book. Because Ramonda and Lalaine are basically the two sides.
I got it. No. I got it.
Yeah,
I understand.
It's fine.
I remember the situation.
Okay.
The names are so many Aes Sedai names.
Yeah. Part of the issue, too, is that each one of them, so Ramonda and Lalaine, each have, like, 3 lackeys. So there's, like, 6 more names that are listed, but they don't really matter.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Megla, Soroya,
nope, you don't have
Verlin,
to do it. Nope.
Faisal,
no
Takima,
Who cares?
Laurel.
Not me.
That's what's happening.
No one else cares.
Okay.
Some people probably care.
If in the future it comes back, you'll be like, I don't know who these people are. I'd be like, remember when? No.
No, I don't.
It's fine.
No, I don't. We've been recording for a while. And
that's why I'm here, is to be like, hey, this is why they're important. And at this point, not important.
Okay, so this is when Sheriam is surprised because, she wants to stop. And Egwene basically says that they won't be making it far with broken wagons and dead horses. And Sheriam drops the subject and is much more...
Malleable?
Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Much more in her role. She's like...
Egwene is?
No, Sheriam.
Sheriam's more in her role.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get why.
She's doing her, job better as keeper. Like, she's not trying to, constantly convince Egwene of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. We get that.
That's the whole thing. It was the Sheriam being the third wheel of the Ramonda Lalaine thing. Sheriam was trying to pull Egwene in a certain direction, too.
To the direction of the original 6.
Because now...
even the original 6 think they're better than the Hall.
And now they're all under fealty to Egwene.
Yeah.
But then also big asterisk to that, because what the heck is up with this last perspective of what's going on?
I don't know. We got to get there because I barely remember it.
Okay.
I'm just like, yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll see.
Okay. But anyways, Sheriam is fitting into her role as keeper.
Okay, so the two of them start making their way through the snow, linked arm in arm, because they're gonna slip and wipe out.
Yep.
And that would be embarrassing.
Physical comedy.
Yeah. And then this is the point that we learn that the rest of the sisters have sworn fealty.
Yes.
Like the original 6 or
this
whatever.
This is the confirmation that did happen off screen.
They did it out of fear and self-preservation.
Because ferrets.
Right.
We got to remember
that situation.
There's spies in the White Tower.
Well, and not only spies, the spies that have a mission to spread the rumor of the rebel Aes Sedai.
Yes.
And to recruit within the tower.
That's
so that when they get there, everyone will turn on Elaida and join their side.
Okay.
That's the idea, right?
That is the idea.
And I honestly don't think that will be that difficult to do, because I think most people hate Elaida.
I was going to say, because Elaida sucks.
She sucks.
She sucks, right? Oh my god. She's
does
the worst.
Suck. The problem now, though, is Elviarin is kind of technically in charge.
Yeah. So, even if, but okay.
Yeah.
Fair points.
Uh-huh.
Tuck that away for later.
Yeah.
Once we get, back with the White Tower and what's going on.
Right. And how will that affect the armies?
Yep.
Battling.
Totally.
Because, here's the thing. Let me think for a second.
Mm-hmm.
If the sisters in the tower can anticipate the, quote, rebels coming.
Yeah.
And everybody wants the tower to be whole again, and all they have to do is just overthrow Elaida, then maybe they'll be more susceptible to doing that, just as they're arriving.
Yeah.
And there doesn't have to be a big fight.
And be like, hey, we took care of Elida for you.
Yeah, let's
Come on
all
in.
be...
Yeah.
Because that's really...
That sounds like a trap, though.
That
Anyways.
seems, though, at the bottom of all of it, all of the Aes Sedai just want to look strong and be back together.
Fair. So maybe more nuance to like what actually, but I like the idea.
That's clearly what the people who were sent to the tower were supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the idea.
I like it.
Will it work?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, things go as you expect.
Never.
3 unintended consequences. 1 is terrible.
And 1, might be wonderful. We never talked about that.
Right?
It might be great.
Swan's just a negative Nancy.
Right?
Come on.
Kind of.
Yeah, she focuses on the bad things.
She does.
Yeah.
So now, Sherry suggests that they take the opportunity to check out the surrounding country to stock up on supplies because everything is running low.
Yep.
And Egwene's like, yep.
This is actually really funny.
Go ahead.
You're doing great, Sherry.
You can do it. I
believe in you.
Confidence in you to do that stupid, mundane, nothing job.
Yeah. And Sherry loves it.
Beams at the compliment. And then that's when we get this description of, her being good at actually, like, serving under Egwene rather than trying to manipulate her.
That's supposed to be kind of sort of your role as keeper, probably in this instance, is like to assist me. Assist into the regional Amyrlin seat.
Precisely.
Right?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we get a description of the whole camp, and everyone is getting things going because of the announcement that they're stopping here. And so Egwene sees one of the...
Morvrin.
6.
Yeah, Morvrin.
Okay, moving through the camp with someone else.
Takima, which is one of Lelane's lackeys.
Okay.
Yep.
And then at the Amyrlin study tent...
Yep.
Sheriam leaves to go about her tasks.
Yeah.
And inside of the tent, Salami...
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of, like, little things that are happening here.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to pick up on, like, why are people looking and frowning at each other? But clearly, Egwene has got something going on.
And everything it seeds are being planted.
Because Egwene has her loyal followers doing something with Lelaine and Romanda's people, but not necessarily how Egwene thinks she might want it to happen. Okay. So it's like, it's kind of happening the way she wants it to happen, but it's not quite happening the way she wants it to happen.
Okay.
Because Aes Sedai are going to be Aes Sedai, right?
They sure will be.
Yeah.
That.
They're going to be schemy. They're going to do their own thing a little bit.
Uh-huh.
They're bend the rules.
Sounds like Aes Sedai to me.
Anyways, Salami's here doing chores.
Okay. In the audiobook, Salame.
Nope. Salami.
I'm telling you. No, I
prefer
agree.
Yours.
I agree Salami is great.
It. Yeah.
Salame. Yeah. This is like the one time the E at the end isn't the like sound.
Right.
Because salami is stupid.
That would be a bad pronunciation. Oh, man.
Okay, so Salami is here. She's doing her chores. And pour one out for Salami. Because I think this is the last time we see her before she dies. Probably a pretty gruesome death.
Oh my god, I can't. Okay.
Right? Stop smiling. It's not funny.
It's really funny. It's really funny.
No, it's not funny.
Because we have
You're laughing at the death of Salami.
You don't know if she's dead.
Oh, yes, I do.
You, though?
Well, no.
Right?
I know one's dead.
You know one is dead.
And I don't know where the other one is, but it's probably worse than being dead.
You think one is dead. You have no clue.
Well, there's a corpse.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it's
Someone's dead.
Someone's dead. You don't know who it is.
No matter what's happening, if Salami's gone and she's not dead, she wishes she was dead.
God. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right.
So either way, pour one out for her.
Yeah.
Now, she's doing chores. She's a servant, right? She's not actually an Aes Sedai or a novice.
Yeah, no, she's one of the. Yeah.
She's just a servant.
Yes.
Because that is where I sort of started getting lost. Because this I also didn't really remember.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So, just as a recap.
Tell me, yeah.
Egwene basically has 3 servants.
Yes, I remember.
She's got Chesa.
Yeah.
Who is the one who Sheriam appointed.
Okay.
However, Egwene really likes Chesa because she thinks that Chesa has proved her loyalty. Okay. She's the one who's, like, overly motherly towards Egwene.
Okay.
And, like,
Sure.
But technically was appointed by Sheriam. Anyways.
Yeah.
Then we've got Mary...
Who's very ugly.
Was appointed by Romanda.
Do you remember how ugly Mary is?
Fence post something?
No,
maybe?
no.
Okay.
Probably fence post face.
Okay.
But like...
Yeah.
I remember specifically how ugly Mary is.
Not the important part
and
of it.
Egwene doesn't like her because she's ugly.
Appointed by Ramonda.
So
clearly a spy for Ramonda.
Yes.
And then Salami is the one who was appointed by Lelaine. As the other side of that triangle, people trying to influence Egwene's decision-making.
Yes.
So, 3 servants from the 3 people trying to,
Yep.
get Egwene to do what they want.
Yep.
And 2 of them are now...
Well, not yet.
Yeah,
Don't
not
jump
yet.
ahead.
Not
Don't
yet.
jump ahead.
Not
Because
yet.
Salami's here. She's doing chores.
Alive and well so far.
Swan is already here with a bunch of papers because her job now is Egwene's secretary.
Yeah.
So that's a good cover for
It
them
tracks,
to be
yeah.
able to spend time together.
Yeah.
Now, Swan and Egwene get to work on the reports, and there's a lot of reports, actually, which is cool because it's, Swan and Lyanna's Eyes and Ears network that are really getting them all these reports?
Yeah, basically. Swan mostly.
Yeah.
Because Swan was the head of the Blue before she became Amyrlin, and then she had the Amyrlin Eyes and
Lyanna has
Ears.
her own in, Tarvalin and different places.
Yes, exactly. Because Lyanna was specifically, which was weird to some people, that she wanted to spy within Tarvalin, but she's like, hey, you want to read on your own city.
Ooh.
Which
Remember
makes
my
sense.
prediction from last time about Tarvalin? The
Blackberry bush. Yes, I like that. Okay.
Are you going to tell me about these? I didn't write them down. The notes and stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's,
all the reports?
The reports.
All the reports of stuff. The only one I really took note of and remember that I didn't write any of them down.
Okay.
But from reading the chapter, the only one I thought to myself, interesting, is the report of the Candoran army moving south from the Borderlands. And I thought, ooh, that's from the prologue.
You are correct, but that's not here, because right now we got to talk about how there's no soap, and there's no nails,
oh,
and there's
that's
no
not
leather.
These reports?
Yeah, these are the reports before the important stuff, because they're out of everything.
Oh, and that's later in the chapter? So I remembered something from this chapter.
Yeah. Right now is when we get a bunch of terrible suggestions from terrible people on what they should do to fix their money shortage because they have no money.
Oh, just stop paying the soldiers.
Don't pay the soldiers. And then it's like,
and when you say terrible suggestions, it's all from the sitters, right?
Yes, yeah.
These
from
are all their suggestions?
Yes, that because they don't have money.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because they're not connected to Tarvalin where all the money
where the money comes from.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay, so suggestion number 1. Don't pay the soldiers. But you know what happens when you don't pay soldiers?
They leave.
Suggestion number 2. We should get other nobles who are close to us physically to give us money.
Cool.
That
strong arm.
Hey, you.
Blackmail
rob
and
people.
steal.
Okay. Suggestion number 3. We should tax the towns and villages that we pass through.
Also steal.
What?
Stealing their money.
And why? That's not...
It's just called stealing.
Right.
Yes.
We should rob people.
Yeah.
Anyways, those are the suggestions, and Egwene is like,
No.
Those are bad.
Those aren't realistic.
Yeah. And then the whole realistic thing, Swan brings up, like, hey, a lot of people argue what you are suggesting is also unrealistic. Which, kind of fair.
What's Egwene suggesting?
March through the country and then storm Tarvalin and siege it. I guess.
Oh, like that.
Like that whole plan, that's like a little bit unrealistic.
Okay, but she doesn't have a plan for how to get more money.
We need money.
Yeah. Gateway into the bank and rob...
Just little gateways. Enough to fit your hand through.
You love those little gateways.
That's how I would rob a bank if I could make...
man, that's been your greatest revelation
I'm
since
just saying,
starting the podcast.
There's things you could do.
You never one time, reading this book series as many times as you have,
don't know what I've done.
You've never one time thought about a mini gateway.
You don't know me at all.
For your arm. Never. I believe it.
And
You've latched on. You love this theory.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know
it's fantastic. Do you know the things you could do?
Rob banks. You'd rather rob a bank than nobles and townspeople.
That's, fair. Okay.
Big corporations.
Big corporate, go for it.
Way better than individuals.
Yeah.
They won't even feel it.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet Egwene could write to her dad, and he could send some money at the inn.
Bran Alvear?
Yep.
Enough to finance an army?
He's probably so rich. He's
right now. Holy smokes. Emond's Field has been growing.
It's huge. Yeah, they could probably help.
Right?
Perrin, the king of Manetherin.
And
Gildan.
Uh-huh.
And how about Randall Thor?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who's also supposed to be on your side. And also rich beyond his... He owns...
So rich he doesn't know what he owns.
He owns
but it's
Ilion,
like 4 nations.
He owns Kyrian. He owns everything the Aiel owns, which is a fifth of everything he owns.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he gets a cut of everything. Yeah.
Man, ask that guy.
Yeah, you know him. You grew up with him.
Get Matt to come over, play some dice with some of those
Matt's
nobles.
not here right now.
That's how we steal the nobles' money.
How much gambling could you do to finance an army?
Could do it.
He could.
He was already doing it.
Right.
That's how he was...
Smaller scale.
Doing it.
Little smaller scale.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to stay on track.
We got options.
And the options that were presented so far are bad.
How about Elaine, who's essentially the queen of Andor? How about that?
Yeah.
Use Andor's money.
It's co-owned by Elaine and Rand right now.
Yeah. They're both on your side. I just solved all your problems, Egwene.
Yep.
Think. Goodness.
Phew.
Ugh. She doesn't even think.
Anyways, let's talk about Swan giving us lessons in the history of Tarvalin. Mm-hmm. Secret histories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I think this is going to end up being. This whole tower split and Egwene being like...
Oh, a secret history?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It'll 100% be a secret history.
Oh, absolutely.
Even this tower splitting business will be like
100%
a secret
buried.
history. Yeah.
Bury it real deep.
Yeah.
And I just like it because basically the story that Swan is telling us is that everything that you think is going to happen has already happened in some fashion, probably.
Yeah.
There's already been a split. There's been the year of the 4 Amyrlins. There was a time when there was 2 rival halls of the tower. Basically,
in the tower at the same time.
Yeah. And it's like the same, and maybe it's a little bit different, but it's all happened before.
Same, but different, but same.
Yeah,
but still same.
The wheel turns, and history repeats itself. So
yeah, and you know what? Again, Swan says in one way or another, the tower always survives. She said that before.
She did
in relation to the Shanshan.
So when we get someone who says something so many times in a few chapters, we have to have a prediction from you.
Ooh.
Will the White Tower survive the last battle?
The last battle?
When we're talking...
Or survive this battle?
Let's say the series.
Like, let's say...
Sure.
Egwene gets there, defeats Elida.
Sure.
And she's changing things completely. But are we continuing in the White Tower? Kind of thing? That's
the question. It's like, in the scheme of things, does the White Tower have a future? Does it have a future within the series? Within, just outside the series?
Here's my deal with that.
Okay.
I think that Tarvalin and the White Tower will still stand as like Aes Sedai headquarters, but what that means will probably be drastically different.
Okay. For the better?
For the different.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Who's to say that different is better?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
So, it's like that. It's like the new generation coming in, doing things differently.
It's very philosophical of you to say that.
You know what? That's my thing.
Get enough wine and cider in you, and it's like,
super
boom.
Super philosophical.
There you go.
I read half a book on philosophy once. They didn't finish it. Oh, goodness.
It's good. Okay, we still have things to talk about this chapter.
Yeah.
Because that was the end of Egwene's perspective.
It is. And now I want to take a quick break, and then we'll get into the perspective change.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, perspective change, and it's a pretty good one.
It's a little. Very quick.
It's little. It's a little perspective change. It's a snip-snap.
Yeah, very, very
quick. We're snipping, and then we're snapping. So we snip into Erengar's perspective.
Yes.
And now, here in my mind, and, this podcast is typically from my first reader perspective.
For sure.
So for me, from my perspective, I know you already corrected me on this.
Yeah.
From my perspective, reading this, I didn't remember, and I still only half trust you.
Sure.
That we actually learned for sure about Erengar being Halima. I thought that was maybe a very good speculation that makes sense in all the ways. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Halima is Erengar.
Okay.
we are not 100% sure who Erengar is
No, I
in
understand
terms of
that.
brought back Forsaken.
Okay, which makes sense. But for me reading,
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure that we 100% knew.
So this
that
would be
Erengar's
like
Halima.
okay.
So I read this through thinking this potential. You know what this really is for me? This is a Moghedian in Ebudar shooting balefire at Nynaeve situation where I convinced myself that Robert Jordan was tricking us into thinking one thing, but it was actually another. So I thought maybe this was Robert Jordan tricking us into thinking this was Halima in the camp where Egwene is, but it's actually different.
Right.
Now, what you're telling me is it's Halima in the camp where Egwene is.
Totally.
So
it is.
Then a lot of my speculation doesn't matter even a little bit.
And that's okay.
And that's how she rolls.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So, Erengar is looking through the trees at the army's camp and sees some soldiers moving along, and she can't help sneering because spears and horses and primitive rabble and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like typical Forsaken stuff.
Yeah. And so she thinks I could destroy all of them and they would never know who was killing them. But she's not going to do that because the Great Lord rarely gives second chances, and she wasn't going to throw hers away.
Yeah, so that's like a pretty big thing too.
Yeah,
just
especially because
like
we just met someone whose name was literally Second Chance.
Yeah, Last Chance.
Last Chance. Ooh,
Last Chance.
Oh, yeah. Sindane?
Sindane, yes. So, things to think about.
Yeah. I like that glossary definition still. I think about it sometimes.
It's pretty good.
About how attempts to discover who they are might prove futile.
Mm-hmm.
I like that very much.
Yep.
But anyways, back to this. Now, Erengar has just finished burying something in the snow that she doesn't want to be discovered. And Rita was like, it's a body.
For sure.
For sure.
Yep.
She waits until some soldiers pass and then starts heading back to camp, thinking about tonight's dreams.
Okay, so like confirmation then.
Yes. And then some men finally notice her and she smiles at them and smooths her skirts while thinking that she hardly remembers what it was like to be a man.
Yeah.
But she hopes she wasn't this stupid.
Yes, because men are stupid and, kind of fair.
Yeah, easily...
Yeah, manipulated.
Manipulated by pretty women.
And we've kind of got that from Halima from the start, where she clearly likes to manipulate people, and even with people like Matt, when it didn't quite work the way she wanted, she tried to do something to him, and he felt the medallion go cold on his skin.
Yes.
And we know that Halima channels Saidin, not Saidar,
right?
Which is very important for medallion business.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Tuck that away, because who cares right now?
Tuck it away, and it's for later. Anyways,
no one cares
back
about
to
that
this
at
fun
all.
little secret that she buried in the snow.
Uh-huh.
It's a corpse.
Right, because at this point she thinks getting through all these people with a corpse unseen had been difficult even for her.
With a lot of magical stuff, but she did it.
Yeah.
She buried someone.
Definitely.
Okay.
Now, snap back to Egwene.
Yep.
Perspective change. And this is why I was like, ooh, that would be funny of Robert Jordan to plug this in that has nothing to do with what's going on. I do like the perspective in exactly what's going on. I think that's fun. But also to throw us off, even more fun.
For sure. Boobs out are always fun. It's great.
Who doesn't like that?
It's fantastic.
Realistically.
Yeah. Adds a lot of, it's good.
Intrigue.
Sure. Mystery sometimes.
I told you, I'm very enticing. Just wait till I write my book.
Wow.
Whoa.
Amazing.
You know how many boobs are going to be out all the time?
All of them.
All of them.
Okay.
Number 1 bestseller. Okay. So, the morning goes on with Egwene and Swan sifting through the reports, and is this where we get the good information?
We're almost there.
They're sifting through reports.
Not yet. We're going through like other reports still, but we're not quite at the reports.
So boring.
That you talked about.
This literally went on forever and ever and ever.
And that's where RJ hides the details.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay, so Egwene knows that there will be some visits from Ramonda and Lilani.
Because...
Or Lilane, or
her
whatever.
secret... She knows that she's going to be found out about the army business.
Yes.
She just doesn't know exactly when.
When.
Yes.
Okay, so eventually, Lilani or Lilane... How do you want to say it? How do you like it?
I say Lilane.
Do I say Lilani?
I don't know if that's how they say it.
Because it's in the audiobook?
Perhaps.
I don't know. I've never really taken note.
Okay.
Lilane comes in with Pheolane on her heels, which is an interesting note because Pheolane has sworn to Egwene.
Yes.
That's the one who was raised to Aes Sedai
Yeah.
by Egwene.
Yeah.
And swore to her on her own accord.
Yes.
Now, that's funny because I made mention of them last episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Lilane with...
You gotta pick one.
Pheolane.
Just like do it one way.
Okay.
Do it however you want to do it,
I
but
know.
pick one way.
Fine, I will. They come in, and she says, we need to talk about the sea folk. And for a second, Egwene is worried that somehow the Hall has found out about the, quote, insane bargain that Nynaeve and Elaine have made.
Oh, yeah. So that's out of the bag.
But she tries to play it cool, and I have a side note. I have a side note to talk about.
Okay.
For just like 1 second. I know we're running long.
That
but,
she doesn't play it cool?
Well, like, no. Yes, of course she doesn't. But what the problem here is, she still has her stupid folding chair that doesn't sit properly and, like, collapses all the time.
Yes.
But can I tell you what she has in her sleeping tent?
A chair?
Full armchair.
Oh, yeah.
It's like specifically in all the description mentions that by her bed is an armchair, like a full regular armchair.
Just like put that.
Just put that behind your stupid desk.
Yeah.
Instead of a folding chair that you always pitch yourself to the floor on.
But you know, the full armchair is like too comfy and she would fall asleep. Boom, figured it out. There you go.
No. If anything, too big. Bulky.
Maybe.
Perhaps for the smaller tent study
Now
tent.
you're thinking.
But here's the thing. Let's replace the stupid folding chair because that was a long time ago. It's still a problem. This is that physical comedy.
It is.
Piece,
it is.
But still.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Rant over.
Okay, good.
I really hope
Cheers
that
over.
we solve the folding chair problem.
Back to the sea folk.
That's the actual problem.
Yes, because they are in Camelin and Kyrian.
And so...
And I mean, technically Abu Dar, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
No.
We specifically don't want to talk about that.
The sea folk in Camelin are technically the sea folk from Abu Dar, right?
I mean, no, they're all sea folk from the sea folk.
Okay, wait. Why are there sea folk in Camelin?
Because the sea folk initially sent an embassy to Camelin.
The sea folk did.
And Kyrian, because Rand was jumping between Camelin and Kyrian, and that's where rumors were, that's where he was, so they sent sea folk to both. And then Abu Dar is where they're all kind of hunkered down right now, where the queen of the sea folk
Here,
were.
I thought that the sea folk in Camelin were the sea folk that are with Elaine and Nynaeve, like close to Camelin and Andor. No? It's different?
No.
That group, so the group that's with Elaine and Nynaeve is different than a group that's already in Camelin?
Yes, there was an embassy of sea folk who went to Camelin and also went to Kyrian. Way before Elaine traveled with sea folk.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Different embassies. And Rand was ignoring all of them.
Because this whole time I thought she's talking about the Camelin as the ones who are with...
Nope, not those ones. They're separate.
Okay.
Yep.
I believe so. The ones that are about to probably go to Camelin, they'll like meet up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly. Yeah, because Rand was really ignoring all the sea folk for a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, at this point, Ramonda barges in with Theodrin.
Yes.
So that's like cute.
There you go.
It's cute on Egwene's end.
Egwene's got her spies.
That she has her own spies.
The spyers become the spies. Right?
Yes.
Is that how it works? Other way?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Not for this. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They don't know that we know that they know
more important things to discuss. Let's keep going.
Okay. Now, Ramonda says the Kyrian sea folk because they found out that Rand has been talking with the sea folk there, and all the eyes and ears are reporting it.
Yeah, because Rand met with the Kyrian
bargain that's happening. I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that Rand started off good. And then Marana sucked at.
Messed up.
Yes.
Even though it's her life goal to be excellent at
That's what she's trained for.
It's her whole training.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the group that Rand met with.
Right.
So that's why they're the important ones, not the Camelin ones.
Got it. Now, this is funny because clearly Ramonda and Lelaine are here together, and every time they're together here, it's Egwene doesn't matter, they forget she even exists, and they just start yelling at each other.
Correct.
And that's exactly what happens here.
Yeah.
Because Lelaine answers for Egwene and says, no, if anyone knows the answer, it'll be someone in Camelin because the sea folk there aren't stuck on their ship, and I doubt they're on different missions because, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And they're probably interested in Rand because they know who he is by now.
Yes. Yeah. And it's also an important note that Egwene knows, obviously, about the whole Coromor stuff, but she hasn't told anyone here about that stuff.
No.
So Ramonda and Lelaine are still acting on information that they're not up to date.
Probably not a stretch to think that these Aes Sedai have an idea of some sea folk prophecies.
Yeah, not a stretch at all, but it's like they don't actually know that the
Rand
sea folk
has fulfilled,
and Rand is the Coromor, literally they're prophesized
reborn,
one.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's still that little distinction. So there is some speculation, but it's not full-fledged. They know what's up.
So Lelaine and Ramonda keep on with their argument and ignore Egwene as per usual, and Lelani says the next time the mother sees Elaine and Nynaeve in Tel'aran'rhiod, she can pass on instructions. I think that this is why I was like, oh, this is the sea folk with Elaine and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, they'll pass on instructions for the sea folk and tell them what to do.
Yeah.
But no, this is different, right?
It is different because it seems like they still think that Elaine and Nynaeve might be still in Abu Dar. It's a little bit undefined. Egwene knows where Elaine and Nynaeve are because she has regular meetings with them.
Where's Merlelli? She's with...
Marillilla is with Elaine and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
They're now in Andor, but they were in Abu Dar, and the Hall thinks that Marillilla is in charge of Elaine and Nynaeve.
Okay, but she says that Elaine and Nynaeve should get instructions from Egwene, and Merlilla can find out what the sea folk want when they reach Camelin, so it really feels to me as though they understand
that they've now left Abu Dar and they're in
Andor and traveling potentially towards Camelin.
Yes, and then hopefully once they meet up with the sea folk who are in Camelin already, on that embassy,
for Lelaine and Ramonda, I'm surprised they know this much information. It's that Egwene is sharing some things with them.
It's all kind of hidden in disguise though, because it also sounds like from their perspective that they assume Marillilla is in control in some aspect and was in control with the Bowl of the Wind situation.
Because Ramonda is super annoyed that the Bowl of the Winds was used before anyone could study it.
And then Marillilla let that happen.
Right.
It's that wasn't up to her.
And everyone involved should be questioned because none of the Aes Sedai in Abu Dar had much ability in, quote, cloud dancing.
So that's a talent.
Yeah.
Right? So the Aes Sedai know of a talent called that.
Yeah. And this is a subtle jab at Lelaine.
Yep.
Because she supported Merlilla
going
to Abu Dar in the first place.
Exactly.
And Lelaine shoots back that she had no idea that they would decide to use the bowl there and include the sea folk wilders in the circle. Plus, how could Merlilla believe that the sea folk know as much of working the weather as Aes Sedai do?
Yeah, it's number one,
nose
sea
in the
folk
air.
know way more than you.
Yeah.
And any Aes Sedai. But also, it's kind of a big, complicated conversation here, but it's really just breaking it down to the most basic stuff. Ramonda and Lelaine are bickering back and forth, taking shots at each other. And they're wrong about all their assumptions.
Poor Merlilla is getting most of the actual insults.
She's gonna get it's going to go down poorly for her because it seems like they think she's in charge. But really, that was because Elaine really took hold of herself and was like, hey, guess what? Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
She really pulled her punches in Abu Dar to take control. Yeah, she did a
good job. Yeah.
She did. She put them in their place. So...
yeah,
it's going to be, again, future problems.
Bicker back and forth. Egwene chimes in finally, and she's like, yeah, I'll pass your instructions along. Yes. It doesn't really, say whose, because they have separate kind of instructions.
Yeah, and they're not listening anyways, because,
they totally
Egwene's
forgotten
stupid.
She's there.
Yeah.
And then Chessa bustles in.
Yeah, we like Chessa.
Yeah, with a tray, and apologizes for being late, because Mary seems to have wandered off.
That's Ramanda's
And Ramanda
servant.
frowns.
Yeah.
That's why. But she doesn't say anything. And Egwene thinks that wandering off doesn't really seem like something that Mary would do.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, she's dead.
Murdered.
She's buried in the snow over there.
Maybe murdered.
That's what it feels like.
But also...
that's what we're super led to believe. That's if we follow the trail of breadcrumbs.
But also,
that's what's been laid
Salami
out for us.
is also missing.
We get that too.
I know.
Yeah.
So there's 2 missing people.
Either 2 dead... or 1 dead and 1 being tortured.
But Erengar only thought about burying or having 1 corpse.
She wasn't that point.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't exactly know because there was pretty much a day.
Could be a third person. Day. Never know. Could be a total red herring.
Could be 10.
Never know.
Never know.
Never know.
Actually, I know that, but you know. So now Lelaine starts talking again, brings up the need of finding out what the Seafolk want, or what Rand wants, or what the Seafolk want with Rand, all of that.
Yeah.
And Egwene knows about Rand being the Seafolk Cormor. We already covered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they leave.
And then they finally leave.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, that really wasn't exactly what Egwene was expecting at this point.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes. That was separate.
Yeah. Maybe that was one of the seeds to spread.
Possibly.
To just deter away.
Yeah.
So it's get them worked up about something else.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because the next issue seems to be the hot topic.
Then they come in, yeah.
But this is where we get these are the reports now.
These are the reports. When they leave.
Yep.
Egwene is annoyed with her treatment.
Yeah.
Because they clearly act like she doesn't exist and whatever. So then they get back to reports. We get a few pages of all the incoming news. And this is the one I remembered out of the entire chapter. Yeah.
And this is also where we find out that Salami is missing too. So, oh no.
Lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is so lame.
What's worse? What name is worse there, really?
It's terrible.
Both of them are
Chunla.
bad.
Anyways, the
Chunla.
news.
Don't pull a Chunla, guys.
And get friggin' murdered.
Do it.
Oh no.
Don't pull a Chunla.
Okay, this is the news. Soldiers are moving south out of Kandor. And it's just one report. And Borderlanders usually don't go far from the Blight. But it's probably not something that's just made up because, it's weird. We know it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Next one is Kyrian has produced rumors that Aes Sedai have allied with Rand. And there's some worse rumors that they're serving him. But those, they can be dismissed out of hand.
Oh my gosh.
Totally not true.
Can you imagine?
No way.
Can you imagine?
Don't
that
believe
would be just the worst thing that's ever happened.
Don't believe it. The wise ones aren't saying much to Egwene. And Marana...
Literally nothing. They're telling her nothing?
Zero information. And Marana is waiting for Rand's return, so, okay.
Can I point out at this point, Egwene does not know about Dumai's Wells and the capture of Rand by Elida Tower Aes Sedai. Mm-hmm. No clue.
Yeah.
No idea.
And it seems like she doesn't know about the taking of Ilion either.
No.
So.
No.
Now, also good. Someone in Ilion said that he had proof that Rand killed Matt and Stepaneos with his own hands and destroyed the body with the power. And then also, a laborer at the docks in Ilion claimed that she'd seen the former king carried, bound, and gagged, and rolled in a rug aboard a ship that had sailed in the night with the blessings of the captain of the port watch. And Egwene thinks that the first story about Rand killing Matt and Stepaneos is more likely than the one where the king was carried, bound, and gagged, and rolled in a rug.
Right.
And shipped off to wherever.
Right, so that's the hint that maybe Rand is in charge in Ilion.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
my question is, Matt Stepaneos, because we know that he went missing, in quotations.
Yeah.
Either of those rumors, which has more truth to it? Dead or, kidnapped?
Oh, I think he's probably... Ooh, I just changed my mind mid-thought. I think he's kidnapped.
Why?
I don't know. Because I think that's more fun, that he's, like, somewhere and he'll, like, appear again. Because we keep hearing his name, you know?
We do. It's a really cool name.
And because we have no body and we didn't see it happen, we have to assume...
Can't be dead.
Can't be dead.
Also, Ren didn't kill him.
Also that, obviously.
For sure not.
Obviously. It was definitely a Samael plot, but if Samael's plot was to, like, hold him somewhere...
But he's, like,
and
forsaken,
do something
though.
later...
Yeah.
No, I know.
That's true. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have lackeys for things,
yeah,
right?
I feel like potentially we'll see it again.
Okay.
See him again somewhere.
Okay.
Somehow, some way.
Next, the Shanshan are taking a firm hold of Abu Dar with very little resistance, and we know that. That's not a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last one is that the Shido seem to be everywhere,
Yep.
but all the reports are second or third hand, and most of the sisters think that the Shido are scattered because of Rand.
Yep.
Even though the wise ones are denying that, and nobody is willing to meet with Egwene except the sisters who are sworn to her. So the wise ones are avoiding Egwene at this point.
I know, which is actually quite unfortunate.
It's a little bit sad, but we got that when they first separated. It's like, okay, you're Aes Sedai now.
Well, yeah.
You are back to being
also
Aes Sedai.
especially considered she was, like, consistently lying to them and then told them about it, and she had several that she still had to
atone for, for sure, yeah. And Egwene doesn't think there can be that many Shido, so she's thinking like, oh, there might be bandits or Dragonsworn or both, and we know there's like the entire south side of Randland is like not doing so hot right now. So, anyways, that's the reports. There you go.
All right, so Swan is completely zoned out, and Egwene asks what's going on. So Swan says, I've been thinking about whether or not I should tell you something I've been thinking about the Hall. And Egwene's like, yeah, idiot.
Tell me.
Tell me.
It's not actually much. Like,
it's a pattern. Swan sees a pattern about how all of the Saladar sitters are all super young.
Yeah, like too young.
Too young. They're all under 70. And usually the Hall does not have more than one sitter under 100. And this rebel camp has 9.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's half.
It's like half. Yeah. Because 18.
Mm-hmm. And so Swan isn't sure what this means, but she's just on the lookout because it means something, and Egwene doesn't think it's a big deal. And I think I'm tucking this information away for like 3 books from now when this matters.
Matters because they're young.
Something's
Any
happening.
ideas? Like Swan clearly thinks it's a thing. She doesn't know what, but...
Well, and Egwene thinks that this is in her favor.
Yeah.
She's like, well, maybe they wouldn't even have sworn me in if they were all old and used to the old ways.
Yeah.
And even Swan thinks that she's part of the pattern because Swan was sworn in to being an Amyrlin young.
But she also admits, like, anybody who gets sworn in that young, it's because there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Like, Swan knows that she wasn't selected because she was possibly, like, the best for the job. Like, there was a reason for it that she got roped into that.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Tuck it away.
I believe Swan's right.
Okay.
I think there's a pattern and there's a reason.
Are we going to go with the super positive expectation that it's like, oh, it's because they're super progressive here.
No.
They want young leadership.
No, it's because they all want to pull their own strings and have their own motives and whatever.
I mean, that makes sense too. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Easier to manipulate.
Yeah. Maybe that.
It's like literally like a...
I don't quite think it's that simple. Okay. But I do think that there is something happening.
Okay. Because like that's why Egwene's here.
Yeah.
So.
Now, Romanda ducks back into the tent, and she does not look happy, and this is the moment that Egwene was waiting for.
Yeah,
she yells at Swan to get out, and now, when they're alone, Romanda makes a ward against eavesdropping.
Without even asking.
Ugh, can you imagine?
Hate it.
Starts laying into Egwene, saying, "You're a fool. How long did you think you could keep this a secret? Men always talk, and Bryn will be lucky if the Hall doesn't put his head on a pike."
You know what? Don't come into my tent and threaten Bryn's head on a spike.
Right.
You're going to murder him? Come on.
No. So Egwene is trying really hard not to snap, but she knows she has to keep pretending until the right moment.
Not now.
All this work, she just wanted to throw it away now.
Super secret plan.
So Ramonda starts into her for being a baby. A big old baby on the Amyrlin seat. She doesn't have any real power. She'll be lucky if the hall doesn't put her in a corner to play with some dollies after this.
Yeah, you look like a giant baby.
And then Ramonda tells Egwene that the meeting with the heads of the Andor houses...
Pelavar, Arathel, come on. They're not going anywhere. You gotta learn their names.
This meeting will happen... since it's already put into motion.
Yeah, you can't take back a meeting.
But Egwene is going to tell them that Ramonda will speak for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after a few more insults, Egwene says, I understand perfectly, in what she hopes sounds like a meek voice.
The practice of diffidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe. I don't think that Swan or Egwene is very good at that.
I don't fully understand that definition of the word, so, like, I still haven't,
Yeah, it's like
anyways.
meek. It's submissive.
It's fine.
And Ramonda seems to buy it.
Yeah.
And leaves.
Yeah.
And so, when she does, Egwene is so angry that she, like, chucks a jar of ink at
the little thing.
The tent flap, and Leilani is on her way in
to yell at Egwene,
too. Dodges it, and Leilani basically has the exact same message for Egwene, except instead of naming Ramonda to speak, you're going to name her to speak.
And that's going to be like a, whoa,
situation.
What? Crazy.
And Egwene is like, cool, whatever you want, man. And then she thinks about how she's super not happy about having to play this stupid game and take this crap from both of them.
Yeah.
But then Leilani leaves.
You know what? A really good thing to take out of this is the fact that Ramonda and Elaine seem to want to have Elaida deposed. Like, that was a big part of Ramonda's message. It's like, we are taking Elaida off the Amyrlin seat. So, I mean,
and both of them, in their, like, insults...
in their own way,
tell Egwene that she has potential to be good at this in 100 years.
Yeah, but it's like, you're 18, and
you're literally 18
I honestly kind of understand that point of view, too.
She shouldn't even be... Like, she's barely a novice.
Like, I don't agree with what's up, but I kind of get it. I kind of understand.
From their perspective.
Yeah, for sure. From any perspective.
Okay. So now, finally, Swan comes back in and says Brynn came to let her know that the Hall found out about the plan.
Yep.
Yeah, we already know that.
Cover's blowing, man.
Yep. Danger!
That's why we have a code word for it.
Right? And the meeting is set for tomorrow at a lake about 5 hours north. And...
there's a third house.
Pelvar and Arathel.
We know them.
These two.
The third one is Amyrlin. Think it's like Camelin, but without the k. It's just Amyrlin.
Well, they're coming too.
Yeah.
And Egwene mentions that Ramonda and Leilani are conveniently leaving some information out of their stuff.
You know, the interesting part is that the Amyrlin house was one of the ones that was exiled by Morghese.
Oh, no.
Not that it really matters, because, like, Elaine's not here and Morghese isn't here. Just, like, for the record, thought I'd point that out.
Okay. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, Swan is like, okay, well, how did it all go? And Egwene smiles and says, about as we expected. Because these two one-note characters are very predictable. They have nothing else about them or their personalities except they're the same person.
Ramonda and Elaine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're arguing and they don't like Egwene.
Yeah.
And they're rivals. That's like literally it.
Yeah.
They're a one-note, nothing character, and they're very predictable.
Yeah.
So here we go.
That's good.
Now, she also says, they couldn't have handed me the hall better if I had told them what to do.
Secret plan.
Secret plan.
What's the secret plan? And why does that play into her hand?
You know...
getting called out on...
I think...
this meeting.
I don't know. Because is the whole hall going to be there at the meeting?
No.
Like, no, right?
No.
Yeah. Because that would make sense. Because if Egwene, like, says something and then Leilani and Ramonda start, like, literally, like, arguing in fisticuffs or something, you know, in front of everybody, and then they embarrass themselves. And
okay. I mean, yeah.
There's going to have to be something like that, where she pits them against each other, and they implode.
Okay.
Probably not fisticuffs.
But, you know, I fisticuffs, like staring.
Similar.
Okay.
Just screaming at each other.
Maybe.
Because they've been doing that.
You know, that it does happen, but not in front of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
maybe,
non-Aes in front of other
but
non-Aes
maybe
Sedai
this time
people.
it'll...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof,
I wonder if Egwene... Because I was thinking that if she could get the lackeys from both sides on her side, and then Ramonda and Lilani don't really have anybody backing them, then that's really the way to do it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean...
But I don't know.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
You know what's more exciting?
This last perspective change.
The last perspective. Okay.
Yeah. So, we are going to perspective change into Sheriam.
Love it. Okay, let's go.
All right. Before we start, I have to let you know, I don't know. You're going to ask me a lot of questions.
Sure.
I have nothing for you. I don't know what's happening. Maybe don't even try.
Okay. You know what? Let's just go through it, and then we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Because I know you're going to ask me.
I have no expectations.
You always want me to pick something.
Just like, you know.
We'll see. We'll see where my heart lands at the end of this. I'll roll a dice and see what comes up, because that's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's evening.
Okay.
And Sheriam ducks into her small tent.
Which is pretty small.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
There's no armchairs and dressers in here.
She would be sharing if she wasn't the keeper.
But she has a tent to herself, even though it's small.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't have any time before she realizes she's not alone. She's shielded and flung down on her bed, and a corner of the blankets are wadded up into her mouth before she can scream out, and her clothes are burst off of her.
That's pretty severe.
Now, this I feel like I know. This part likely is Halima. Halima's going around with being, corpsey.
Okay.
She's carrying corpses around. People are going missing.
Okay.
And the fingers are likely pointed at Halima. If I have a murder board.
Okay.
Murder board.
I love it. Yeah. Halima, prime suspect.
Considering she carried a corpse, buried it.
Here's a question.
And has... No questions.
No, I have a question.
I'm still talking.
I have a question.
Okay, go.
Halima, prime suspect. Again, forsaken in the camp. Like, it makes sense. It's not that far of a stretch.
We also have Delana as a dark friend, right?
Absolutely.
Which I remembered her name.
You did, which
off
is
the top of my head.
A little surprising.
Is it, though? Because I worked with someone last year named Delana, and that's how I remember that person.
Dark friend.
Yes.
Anyways, if it is Halima, is it Halima as Halima, or is it Halima as just, like, somebody else? Because, like, that's a big question. Because if it's Halima as Halima...
What do you mean as someone else?
Like, disguise. Disguised Halima.
I don't know if Halima knows how to disguise.
She's a Forsaken.
Oh, we just assume they all know?
Why wouldn't you assume that they can all disguise themselves? Because otherwise that means that Sheriam knows who Halima... Like, we know Sheriam knows who Halima is. Halima's Halima in the camp, like Halima's a person.
It doesn't really feel like, at this point, Sheriam is in a position where she can squeal.
Fair.
So I don't know if your question matters.
You know what? And that's a good answer.
But maybe disguise?
Maybe. It's just a thought. Like, if it is Halima, is it her looking the way that she does? Or is it like... Because, I mean, so many...
Okay, let's get through the rest of it.
So many people disguise themselves nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everyone's doing it.
And is it even Halima?
Is it even... That's what I said. If it's Halima.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now a mysterious hand strokes Sheriam's head and says, "You were supposed to keep me informed, Sheriam. That girl is up to something, and I want to know." And it takes a long time to convince her questioner that she had already told everything she knew, and that she would never hold back a word, not a whisper. And when she's left alone finally, she curls up to whimper from her welts, wishing she had never in her life spoken to a single sister in the hall.
It's all very, like, mysterious of the thought process of that.
Yeah.
Because that can really mean a lot of things.
Okay, I said I don't know and I have no answers for you. I decided I have answers.
Okay.
Sheriam is a dark friend? Maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe just in a very terrible situation.
I mean, she could be, like, reporting on... Are we assuming that it's, like, the girl is Egwene?
Yeah.
The girl who was up to something?
Yeah.
So if it is Halima...
Okay, well, obviously. That.
I mean, you say obviously, but, like...
Okay. Again, murder board,
okay.
strings attached to people's faces and to places.
Halima
We have
once.
Halima for sure with a corpse buried in the snow.
Yeah.
Like, for sure we have that connection. That's
Probably-
the thing that happened today.
Probably a servant. One of the two.
Probably. But here's the thing. We have missing Mary, and we have missing Salami.
Yeah.
And now we know that somebody wants to know what Egwene is doing.
Yeah.
Or what someone is doing.
Yeah. Someone.
And is questioning people on that.
Yes.
Now it's likely Egwene's servants and keeper are being questioned.
Yeah.
And it's likely that maybe somebody dies in questioning.
Okay.
Which equals the buried body.
Okay.
Which links it to Halima.
Does Halima make sense, though, for wanting to know what Egwene is doing? Because Halima is sharing the tent with Egwene. So
But
if anyone is going to know what she's up to...
she's not getting the information. She's not there.
She's curious, but she's not there.
Because Swan and Egwene concocted their plan away from where Halima was, potentially.
Gotcha.
Now, the only thing that definitely doesn't make sense on this murder board is Sheriam, who wishes she had never spoken to a sitter of the hall.
Single sister in the hall.
Sister in the hall.
Yeah. It's a very weird... It's like a weird phrasing.
That's the thing that made me be like, I have no idea.
It's like she was in a... It seems like a maybe wrong place, wrong time situation, but like...
it feels to me like maybe she was like a wilder and she went to the hall and it's like ruined her life.
Honestly, it could be that, because this also could be like an RJ.
Or is it a sister in the hall? Because I read it as sitter.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm
connecting the points that I have, but I don't have enough yet.
Well, by the time you have enough, it might be too late.
For Sheriam or
for everybody, you
for
know?
everyone.
Once you know, you know. But it's like if you were in the shoes of one of our characters, like, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it has been a very long night. I did not expect these 2 chapters to go on as long as they have.
Yeah.
Here we are, though.
Good vibes or bad vibes from the Sheriam perspective? Like, for Sheriam. Bad? Okay. It's like
either
bad situation.
she's a dark friend and she's caught up in, like, terrible things.
Doing a bad job, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Or
she's caught up in terrible things.
Which is also bad for Sheriam.
And also probably bad for Egwene.
Probably. She has a lot of bad things going on for her right now.
This is a hard part of the series. Because we're kind of just in the middle of just a bunch of terrible things happening. Yep. We're in the problem and conflict. Like, if the entire series is, like, the gradual increase, the problems and whatever, and then there's, like, a resolution at the end of the series, and, like, the conclusion.
I warned you about this. It's not book by book now. It's, like,
no,
it's the series.
We're sort of in the midst of every one of our characters sort of having a terrible or conflicting time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good.
Nope.
So let's read on.
I feel like I warned you. I've done what I can to warn you about that.
There's no amount of warning that can warn anybody enough.
Doesn't prepare you for it.
Yeah. Nope. But here I go.
Yeah.
To read on anyway.
It'll be good.
Because maybe one day things will be okay for our characters.
Maybe. You're still expecting a happy ending. It's good. I like that.
No, not happy.
Oh, okay.
But I think that some positive things can happen along the way.
Yeah, okay.
Why do people read books anyway? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see what happens next.
All right.
Who knows? Not me.
Nope.
Okay, well, before you have to endure being yelled at by a bunch of condescending people because it's part of your master plan, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Margaret, and Charlie Has. with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast, and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.